So next, I want to bring up a colleague, a friend of mine who I feel like you're about to see on the cover of every magazine, next TV show, but she's doing amazing work, Arlington Hamilton. Hey, yeah, we can do that. Oh, we're gonna hug it. Okay. All right, you get an introvert
All
pass.
right.
You get an introvert pass.
Yes, two introverts hugging on stage. Hi,
Cool. Arlen, how you doing?
I'm pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing okay. We did talk about this a little bit.
Yes.
It's gonna be a dual interview conversation.
Yeah, because I've known you for a couple of years, and I wanted to know a little bit more, but probably to set the stage, we'll say at least who I am. But I'd like to ask you a couple questions.
Okay, let's make it happen. But first, ladies first. More about you, your background, and who you are and what you're working on.
Okay. I am the founder and managing partner of Backstage Capital, and we invest in companies that are led by underestimated founders. So that means women, people of color, and LGBT founders at the core, and basically anyone who has been overlooked historically but is building brilliant companies and deserves as much of a chance, if enough of a chance to do what they do as anyone else.
Yeah. So, who is Arlen now versus Arlen 2 years ago or a year
This is
ago?
very Oprah-esque. Okay. Well, who is Oprah now? I mean, who is Arlen now? Freudian. Well, you know, Oprah has 5 letters in her name. Ellen has 5 letters in her name. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Hey, own it.
I am wearing the same jeans as 2 years ago, but I'm ordering my Popeyes at more expensive hotels these days.
Okay. You're ordering your Popeyes
Yes.
at Pacific Hotels.
Yeah.
Okay.
That kind of sums it up. Same me, but I'm a little less worried about where I'm going to sleep.
Got it. And I know last year you was a mentor here at Tech Inclusion, and you had overcome a little bit of stage fright, things like that. Yeah. And then now I'm looking at Twitter and I'm seeing you was at launch yesterday.
Oh yeah, I was yelling at some white man yesterday at lunch.
Oh, what happened?
No,
What happened
it was fun.
Okay.
It's fun. I don't think anybody got hurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just was talking loud,
Okay.
loudly.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll take your word for it. So, what sparked you? Like, what was the trigger point? I shouldn't use that word. I'm sorry. What was the motivation? What did you see with like that? So, you know what? I'm gonna be a tech investor. I want to be a role model. I want to create a fund. I want to change the world. What was that it for you?
Yeah, I don't know if I set out to be a role model, but I set out to enable people who could be. That was really it. It was, I was just seeing too many brilliant, mostly black women doing things with far fewer resources, doing things with the way they'd have to figure out challenges that I would see other people just kind of crumble at the face of, or couldn't even begin to take on that challenge, and they were just being stepped over. We were being stepped over. It was just like the footnote in a very, very long book, and I just got tired of it, and I didn't understand it. Didn't make any sense to me, so I said, I'm going to talk about this, and I'm going to yell about it and cry about it, literally, but I don't think anybody will pay any attention if I don't write a check while I'm doing it. And since I don't have money to write a check, we have to figure out a way to get that. So that's what made me set out to raise a fund of any amount, just to have something on the table to say, okay, you're not, to the traditional quote unquote investors, you're not listening to me, you're not reading my blog. Maybe you'll hear me when I'm right in the room with you, writing these same checks.
Yeah. No, that's a great point, and you are 100% correct on that. Um, yeah, we should talk more. I'm not sure if you know, but
Okay.
so in 20,
I got time right now.
no, in 2014, I tried to raise a fund, and I failed at it. And it's one of my biggest, like, emotional kind of like failures I need to write about. I wasn't ready, and I thought I was. There was a lot of people like, oh, you can raise from Wayne, you know all these people. And I got some advice. You know, you get advice that from your mentors or peers, and they're like, you get advice and you're like, I don't know if I should take it, or if you don't take it, it's like you're not listening, you're not a good entrepreneur. But it was saying that, oh, you have to raise like $10 million. You have to make like $20 million. You have to raise a large fund. You can't do nothing with like $3 million or $5 million. And I had a team, you know, credible team, and we walked in the meeting and was talking with some potential LPs, and I was like, crap, we had a goal, like, hey, let's try to get $3 million. We had some yeses committed, but they were saying you got to go $10 million or higher. That hurt, because I knew it was not going to be possible in the next couple months. And so you did it. You identified that you needed to like cut checks. But what is your pushback on like, oh, you can't do nothing with $3 million, you can't do nothing with $5 million, you can't do nothing, like, because you and I know,
Yeah.
for us,
That's a lot.
that's a lot.
There's a whole list of women, black women, it's less than 20, who have raised $1 million or more in general for a company, for a startup. The reason that list is everywhere is because it is so hard to do as someone who is marginalized. And I don't know who was giving the advice, right? I don't know because it could be people who kind of look at like us and say, you should do this, this, and this, but they themselves were not doing it. So they don't know how difficult it is to raise a fund in this body. I mean, can you imagine? You know, in this body, like we're trying to raise a fund, it's still hard today. But I listened at first to people who said it needs, you know, no one's going to listen to you if it's less than 20 million. Because part of that was that they were talking about the profile of certain types of investors. Part of that was like them thinking about what had happened in the past with other people who were trying to start a micro fund. But you can't apply the same thing. You can't apply the same thing to me as you can apply to a 25-year-old white man who has 14 of his father's friends write checks, Rothenberg. You can't,
Yeah.
and that's what I was being compared to. You can't do that. So the whole point, see, this is where the kind of light bulb moment, though, was. The whole thesis around my fund was black women, black people, people of color, women, we do more with less.
Yes.
So when it dawned on me, I'm not raising a $10 million, it's not gonna happen. Not only did I have all that, but I had no financial background. I mean, it would be really kind of crazy to be able to raise that much out the gate. Mm-hmm. When I realized that it was going to be more like a couple of $1 million, I said, well, this is the whole point. Use that to make a splash. Do what you do, write these checks. You know, I wasn't writing 250K checks at the time, but if I can write a 25K check and be the first call for an entrepreneur, that's almost like putting in $1 million.
Yeah.
So it was just about, you know, being realistic about what was going on. And it's been heartbreaking. A lot of it's been heartbreaking. So I don't feel like, I mean, I'd love to talk to you about your experience, because I know you might have thought of it as a failure, but think about this. Like, I'm going to try to be a little, not be too corny, but if you hadn't tried, that probably means I wouldn't be able to have done it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
So don't think of it as a failure.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm gonna write this Medium article because it's like 10 lessons learned from trying to raise a venture fund, because it's challenging. Yeah, especially
challenging.
As black people, right? You know,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a whole different game.
And the timing too. You
Yeah.
know,
It was pre-Arlan, so it's probably easier now.
stop it. Well, you tell LPs come my way, we'll spread it. We'll spread the joy.
We can do that. We can do that. So you touched on something else also around we can do more with less. I mean, I think about it a lot. Like the data shows, we know from Project Diane that 0.2% of Black women receive venture capital, and even before that, less than 1% of African Americans and Latinos receive venture capital, right? So we know, and then you take in the argument that for the last 7 to 10 years, we've been saying this, and the ecosystem has been preaching that for startups, it costs less and less to launch a company.
Yes.
So if you do the math, it's basically saying, all right, I can literally in 30 minutes launch a landing page and buy a domain name and have an MVP up and going. So then the opportunity and the challenge is not some of the technology, unless you do something like AI, machine learning, or deep, drones, or something real super technical. It's all about getting customers and traction. So we can do more with less.
Yes.
But what do you think is still the missing like light bulb moment for them? It was like they don't get that because we have to work harder, because we have to be 10x better, because we influence culture in the world, that they're losing out on opportunities by not investing in people who look like us.
Yeah, I've been preaching that for the past 3 years, and what I really think it is that if we're talking about they being traditional investors who are straight white men,
Yes.
the kind of stereotype investor, which is based on truth, they're comfortable.
Yeah.
They're fine.
Yeah.
And they don't want to rock the boat. So they can, and I'm not saying 100%, I have to say this every single time I talk. I'm not saying 100% of people. If you think I'm talking about you, I probably am, right? Okay? So they're comfortable. And I'm not saying that's necessarily bad. They're good where they are. So why do they need to? I think they want to see if it'll work.
Yeah.
But they don't want to be the ones who do it or to catalyze that. They'll wait to see other people do it, like people like you and I, people like our LPs, like Sean is an LP in our fund who is just on stage with you, people like Brad Feld and Mark Andreessen who have invested in their fund. I think the people that don't invest in our fund are sort of looking on the sidelines and saying, let's see what they do. I'm not going to lose any money over here, not doing anything.
Yeah.
You know, I'll still have my trip to Aspen this Christmas. I'll be good.
Yeah.
And then once we do all the work, once we prove it, once there are these outsized crazy exits, they'll be all about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know, the solution in the meantime.
Got it. Fair.
Except for like yelling about it and tweeting.
Yes. Oh, I have questions about that too. I have like so many questions things we want to talk to you about. So, in terms of the mindset in our culture, Black culture, diverse culture, where you from originally?
I was born in Jackson, Mississippi.
Jackson,
and I was brought up in Dallas, Texas.
Dallas. I was born in T.T., North Carolina, population 200 when I left, now 300. So next smallest town is 20,000 next to it. So we both grew up in the South.
Yes.
So let me tell you a quick story before I ask the question. When we did a program in 2011, got on TV talking about doing startups and focused on African Americans, people were like, Black people were like, why are you asking them for money? Why are you asking white men for capital? Why are you going to them? And there's a couple answers. One, that you clearly saw that there was this disconnect in our culture, and in Latinx culture too, around how capitalism works, how Silicon Valley investments thesis work, how raising money works, how this ecosystem has generated trillions of dollars in creative technology that has changed human behavior for the world. That's how influential this ecosystem is. But there was this huge disconnect across the country. Like, they didn't get it. Like, it wasn't like we was going, hey, give us money. It was like, no,
Right,
this
right.
is this how it works.
Right.
What do you think? But at the same time, it's changed a lot in the last 5 years since the Social Network movie, not a popularity on entrepreneurship. What do you think is going to be the magic moment where it's like people in Mississippi, people in Teaching, North Carolina, people in West Virginia, which is almost 0% black though, but it's still a we look at inclusion and diversity in terms of a mindset is different than the rest of the world. It's going to take for them to say, all right, this is how the tech entrepreneurship capitalism system works.
You're saying like the underrepresented community as
Yeah,
well?
I'm saying
So
yeah,
across the board.
Yeah, what do you think it's going to take for us to like, okay, we need to tap into tech entrepreneurship, or we need to tap into technology, or we need to learn these new skills for the future. We need to look at how we can embrace technology for wealth and for job creation, for startups, for innovation. That is the future of everything we're doing.
Yeah, it's going to be, in my opinion, it's going to be about like the culture. It's going to become part of culture first. So it'll be part of from influencers first. So it'll be people like, well, so I'm getting older, so I don't know exactly who's hot right now. But like it'll be people like Beyonce, investing more and more. And not just investing on the side, kind of like quietly, like she has been doing, but making these maybe doing a TV show or doing videos where or like even on her social media where she's like talking about, yeah, I just had a board meeting, I just did this, and that. It'll be things like that where it's more and more part. It'll be 2 or 3 more sitcoms that someone. So what we're doing here, someone at some station, at some production company is going to pick up on. Yeah. And the first 1 or 2 of them are going to be really bad. Yeah, and they're going to be insulting, like the sitcom-y stuff. Yeah. And then there's going to be one that's more like groundbreaking, and that's this and that. And then, so it'll become more and more part of the DNA across all types, like everyone. Like I think people that are outside of the coast, just in general, don't understand it. As much as they will, and to me that's exciting though. That means like the next 10 years are going to be people can still come in, and so we're still at the ground floor. If you're in this room, you're still at the ground floor of what this will become.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. It is going to take the influencers. Speaking of that, you're an influencer, and how you use Twitter, it reminds me of old school Twitter before it jumped the shark and was all popular. What about your use of Twitter and social media about being authentic, telling your story, talking smack, just calling it out? Like, what is it like? It is what it is.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. It is what it is.
Do you see it as a business strategy?
Oh, I'm not strategic with Twitter. I'm strategic with a lot of things, but with Twitter, you don't have to follow me, I'm speaking my truth, as it were, and on Twitter, I don't know, this is how I am in real life, so I'm going to tell you what I think. I'm going to try to be nice about it for as long as possible, but if I have to get it across, I'm going to get it across. And I actually don't think I'm mean. I think that I'm just like, hopefully just honest. And there's a lot of just stupid stuff that happens. And calling it out is like part of our rights as Americans. So I'm going to just keep doing it. And if I offend someone, if I truly hurt someone, I have a problem with that. Like, I'm not okay with that. Being a bully, Spirit Day, I'm not okay with being a bully, so I hopefully don't hurt people, but I'm not going to, by the same token, let others bully me into not speaking about what is truthfully happening, what's honest and true. And if people don't want that stuff to come out, they shouldn't say it to me.
Yeah, noted. Yeah. So let's go back to the fund and investment right quick, because we've seen the rise of we've seen the rise of more minority individuals, underrepresented individuals who have funds now, where like literally in like 6 years ago, we can count on one hand, like here are the 3 black people who know we have a venture fund who are investors, right? And now it's maybe 10, 15, growing list, maybe 20, it's growing. What are your thoughts on some of those funds? They don't want to, they don't want to talk about diversity. They don't want to talk about inclusion. They want to like, no, we focus on our investment thesis is we aim to make money. We want high growth, successful founders. If they happen to be diverse, okay. They know that because they are a diverse individual, they're going to see more diverse deals. But it's kind of like it's not a part of their investment thesis. What are your thoughts on like where with Backstage, it's directly part of your investment thesis?
Speaking of strategy, that's my strategy. I think it's fine if someone doesn't have that strategy and they're a black person who started a fund and their strategy is different. I think that's fine. They figured out that's how they're going to get LPs, and that's what their strength is in. Maybe in 5 years I'll start a fund that's just about live music, since making live music move into the future, because that's what I knew last as my last career. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like on a personal level, I don't take offense to it. I think it's smart, because I don't think there should be 20 funds run by 20 black people that all are about diversity as their thesis.
Yes.
I think of it the same way I think of any company, that they should be thinking about it as part of their DNA in general, how they act. It's kind of like, I don't know, I've already heard it out loud and I've already decided somebody's gonna hate me for it. Okay, it's kind of a little bit like religion. Like, I don't necessarily need you to believe what I believe, as long as you're a good person. To me, you leave your house wanting to do better, and treat people well. I don't care what you call it.
Yeah.
And that's how I look at this. Is like, I'm not going to judge someone and say, well, your thesis in investing is not diversity. You're trying to get all the big data deals you can get that are any founder. Cool, but do you think about when you're hiring your next associate? If you're a man, do you think about it? Are there women in the candidate pool? Yeah. Things like that are really genuine and authentic.
Yeah, great point.
What do you think? You have a different opinion. I would love to hear it.
I'm okay with it. I agree. I'm okay with if you are Latino, LGBT, Black, Muslim, and you want to create a fund and you want to, invest in only moonshot ideas. If you want to focus just on AI, you want to focus on that. It became too personal for me. I think I've launched several programs over the years that has focused so much on early stage underrepresented entrepreneurs that I feel like in this work around creating inclusive culture, disrupting the Silicon Valley, Bay Area startup ecosystem around inclusion and diversity, I believe the number one thing we can do is invest in early stage underrepresented founders. So for me, it's like, if I can do that, if I can do that, I've accomplished my life goal. So for me, it's more personal. So I want that to happen. So I'm not anti if you don't, but I am disappointed, or I will be offended if you are against me or you if you choose to focus on that.
Well, yeah, it's like religion.
Yeah.
It's like, if that's what you wake up thinking about every day and go to sleep thinking about, then you should be doing that, and I should be doing that, because that's what I wake up thinking about every day. Everybody else does their thing. We don't get to tell them how to be black, just like somebody doesn't get to tell me how to be black, and they try a lot. We don't get to do that, but then it's like to have the same respect turned around for what we're doing, and it's not put in this little category of, you're over here, don't come to my table because you're messing, these other kids won't come sit at our table.
That crabs in the barrel mindset.
Say that again?
That crabs in a barrel mindset.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah,
exactly.
yeah, yeah,
There's
no.
enough, there is so much room for everybody
Yes.
because we get so little.
Yeah, agreed.
So there's so much more to grab at.
Yeah, no, agreed. Thank you for that. We can go on and on.
Yep.
I do want to take one question.
Oh, yeah.
And then we're going to bring our next Fireside chat. If you want to have one question, if not, I'm going to ask one more.
I'll ask y'all a question if you don't ask
All
us.
right, cool. One question? Okay, all right. Well, okay, right quick.
Yes.
You have an ER program, you have some other programs for Backstage Capital.
Yes.
Can you give me, like, why, right quick, and what is some of the success of some of those programs you have at
Right.
Backstage Capital?
Yeah, so we have an apprentice. Chacho is here. He's checking his Twitter right now. He's our apprentice, and I wanted to be an apprentice for a VC when I started, and nobody would let me. So I knew that that's something that we wanted to have in place. So he's working with Christy, our investment partner, and with me, and learning the ropes that way. And so we're a small fund with few resources. So we started off kind of small, but we do have a few EIRs, and we'll build that out. And also, I'd like to also point out that you can follow me on Twitter at Arlan was here, and we have 2 podcasts and a video series, the Bootstrapped VC and Mission and Values, and the Bootstrapped VC TV is on YouTube, and that's how you kind of get to know all of the the culture of Backstage. I think there's a lot to it.
Great. Thank you. Well, this has been fun.
Yeah, thank you, Wayne.
All right, cool. Give Arlan Hamilton, please.